Hello, Ann Arbor.
Hey.
We're back, and we're talking real estate again today.
Yay, real estate.
This one's for our first-time home buyers. I got 5 questions that I'm going to ask Tanya Hill for you so you can know how to be financially prepared and get ready to buy your first house. So, how much money do I need for a down payment, Tanya?
Well, that depends. It depends on, the down payment is the percentage of the purchase price, right? Sometimes it'll be 2.5%, sometimes 3%. Sometimes 5%, sometimes 10. A lot of people think that they need 20% down. You don't always need 20% down. There's a lot of different loan packages that can help you where, like, you could buy FHA, then you're putting down a lower percentage price. You could buy with a MSHDA loan, then they're giving you down payment assistance, but that's not going to let you buy everywhere all the time. And there's going to be limits on that, right? And you have to live in the house for a certain amount of time. So down payment assistance programs are great, but they usually come with strings attached. You can also have, this is the big thing, that is new just now. This was not true last year.
Breaking news.
Pretty much. You can get buyer concessions. The buyer can give you, seller concessions. Ooh, I said that wrong. You can get seller concessions. The buyer can get money from the seller for the down payment. So they could credit you, like you could buy the house for $260,000 and they would give you $10,000 in seller concessions. So that would be $10,000 that would go towards your down payment. So call me if you want to know, because what they say online and what you see in the public, it's not true. So call me, we'll get you in touch with a couple different lenders. A lot of lenders have different packages. Like somebody from Rocket Mortgage will have one, Independent Bank will have another, Lake Michigan Credit Union would have another, Ann Arbor Credit Union would have a different package. Or you can talk to a mortgage wholesaler, and a wholesaler can usually look at all of the packages except for a credit union. And credit unions are kind of cool if they're not for profit. But Independent Bank is kind of cool too, because they will they'll hold on to your loan. You know how people say you sell my loan? Independent Bank will hold on to it. And then Rocket Mortgage is cool because they're fast. That's why they call Rocket.
Okay. So get in touch with us. Get in touch with Tanya. She'll steer you in the right directions. But finish this first. We need to hear all these questions from Tanya so you're fully prepared. Okay, Question number 2. What should my credit score be?
Well, it is what it is, right? So again, just like with the down payment, let's talk about it. Like, is your credit score a 540? Is it a 680? Is it a 740? Is it 800? I work with all credit scores. I also work with cash buyers who don't need a credit score. So there's that one right there. If you're from another country and you're trying to buy a house because in other countries, they usually buy houses with cash. So if somebody comes over here from Italy, they might be thinking, oh, okay, let me bring you a suitcase of money. I'm like exaggerating and making these things up by countries or whatever. But no, this is like real stuff.
Because that's like one of the number one things that people use as an excuse. They're like, I want to buy a house, but I haven't got my credit right yet. I need a little while to just, get some of these things on my report.
Let's pretend that somebody just got a divorce, right? And the first thing that people think when they get a divorce is, oh my goodness, where am I going to live, right? Let's say you were married for a little while and y'all had a 401k, right? So they're going to split that 401k if you're married for 10 years. And your 401k might have like $1 million in it. And so you got $1,000 to buy a house before taxes. Before the huge taxes that you're going to get because, you took the money out of the 401k. But if you don't have a place to live, like, why are you worried about retirement if you don't have a place to live? So my point is, when it comes to your credit score, let's talk about it. Because if you have a 400 or a 540, we can get you up to like a better number, which is like a 640 and 680. And sometimes how much you pay in your interest rate is determined by your credit score. But the big thing is, I need people to stop being scared and just reach out. And it usually takes people 2 years to buy a house anyway. So over 2 years, we could do a lot with the credit score. And we could do things that you didn't even know that we could do. Secrets. Call me. What's the next question?
What are some of the upfront costs besides the down payment, like closing costs, inspections, and all those things?
Yeah, because people don't know about that. So you're going to get a home inspection, right? And the home inspection is probably going to be anywhere from $400 to $650, depending on the size of the house, whether or not it has a basement. Because, I don't know if you're getting foundation stuff, whether or not it has a city sewer or a well or septic, those would be other inspections, and then those would be like $150. And then you're going to get an appraisal. The appraisal is going to be $450, right? And if you have a chimney, you're going to get a chimney inspection. So there's a general contractor's inspection, and that's one price. And then these are your a la carte options: a well, a septic, a chimney, a sewer scope.
Perk test.
If it's vacant land, yep. Unless the vacant land owner has already gotten the perk test for you. And thank you for bringing that up, because that is right around the corner. We'll have one of those pieces of vacant land or two in a couple of months. So some of the other costs, the gas to go and see the houses, people don't factor that in. Oh, can I give you one of the big costs they really don't factor in? It kills me every time. You're selling your house, right? So you have to leave for showings. Where are you going to go? Because sometimes people go to the movies. Sometimes people go out to dinner. I say put your kids and your dog in your car and go and sit down the street with some books, because that's free. But seriously, they'll spend like $20 to $120 like every time they leave the house for a showing.
I'll tell you what you do. You get on AnnArborHub.com, figure out what's going on the free Ann Arbor tab, and you enjoy the city of Ann Arbor.
Yeah, or call me directly and I'll give you some free places to go and some like good ideas for things that you can do instead of like going to a movie or something.
Call her directly for real estate. Come to Ann Arbor Hub if you need something to do.
Because hopefully you're going to have more than one showing. And if you have more than one showing, you're going to be gone for like hours. Or just leave for the whole weekend. Go to your parents' house in Oregon for the weekend and let me sell the house over the weekend. Okay, next
question. How do I figure out how much house I can afford? Because, I mean, I want a big baller mansion.
Yep, so this question is just the same as the others. So the first thing you need to do is you need to call a lender and a realtor. Me. Call me. Whether I'm your realtor or not, I have no problem walking everybody through these steps. Okay? So, well, the first thing you need to do is you need to figure out, like, how much house you can afford. Like, I tell people all the time, are you going to buy a house where you're going to live in Ann Arbor and you're just going to live in your house? Or are you going to live in Ann Arbor in your house and be able to afford to do things outside? Because some people will buy a house and they can't even afford to go on a vacation anymore. I'm not really down for that. I don't want you to spend all your money and be house poor. Unless you're going to say, okay, I'm going to be house poor for the first 2 years. And then after that, everything will work its way out and we'll be fine on year 3. But I'm not really down for the house poor. So I don't like it when people when they're like, oh, I need a huge pantry so I can put all my things from Sam's Club, because you just messed up twice. Like, you are paying more money to have a huge pantry so that you can go to Sam's Club and spend more money on bulk food. And when I come back in 5 years, most of that bulk food from Sam's Club is still in the pantry, in the bag, because it's so big that you can't even see it and you didn't have time to clean it, and the stuff is expired. So you just paid for a $100 Sam's Club card. You paid like $5,000 more for the house, if not 15, to get the huge pantry. And now you got to spend time to clean out the pantry and throw away all the food that you didn't even use. Because I came back 5 years later and I'm like, really? You still got this bag of flour from 2000? Isn't that when I sold you the house? So what size house you need, what people think they need. Everybody wants to buy the house on TV. They all want that big old house on TV where you walk in, you have the huge staircase and our family's going to take the pictures in front of the staircase. You got to pay for the heat for the entry. That 2-story foyer is nothing but $150 a month on your gas bill. We gotta work these things out. Like, I've been able to afford big old houses. Like, I can get the $600,000.
And DT is raising rates next month in February. Go to AnnArborHub.com next week. We'll tell you all about it.
Girl, I'm like unbelievable. So like, I've had money to buy the big $600,000 house, and I could afford the big $600,000. I would choose to not do it in a minute because it's not functional for my family either. Mm-hmm. The other problem is when you have like 4 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms, a finished basement with a movie theater, now your family is all fractured because everybody is everywhere around the house and they're not hanging out together anymore. The kids are in the basement. The husband is in the office. The wife is, she in her bathroom hiding from everybody in the primary suite. I'll be in my bedroom. But it's just how you want to live, like how you need to live and what you need to do. Like, do you need 2 offices? Or are you like me? I have 7 offices because I got a desk in every room. Seriously,
Do you work from home? Do you podcast?
Right. So we need to figure out like where you want your money to be, what your plan is for the next few years. Are you still planning on raising your kids? Are you still planning on like taking that job someplace warm? Mm-hmm. What are your plans? And that's how we can figure out. I wish I had like a person like right in front of me right now, or like, can we have somebody call in, Swag, and then I can work with their like one situation. I'm kidding, but I'm not. So feel free to call me and be my one situation, and let's go ahead and work it out.
Send us a DM on any of the Ann Arbor Hub platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. We now have a TikTok, Ann Arbor Hub TikTok. Just send us a DM if you want to call in and be our subject and talk one-on-one with Tanya on the podcast about your situation and get a little free help. We can get you started.
Oh, we could also do like an Instagram patch-in. If you want to hit us up on Instagram, then we can just go ahead and go live from Instagram. Yeah. The other thing that I wanted to say, though, about like what type of a house you're buying, I mean, it really does depend on your plans. And I'll tell you what I'm really good at. Sometimes you'll wonder how the person at CVS who is checking you out for $10 an hour. I mean, like in the register, not checking you out, like looking you up and down, but like checking, you're buying your stuff. And the person at the grocery store,
both of them.
Be quiet. The person at the grocery store, they're making $10 an hour. Why do they have a $450,000 lake house? And you're trying to figure out how in the world that happened. And this is how it happens. Most people buy 5 houses in their lifetime. By the time you get to your 5th house, you usually have so much invested in it that you're able to take that money and buy a house for cash. It does not mean that you'll be buying the same size house or the same location of the house. Like, for example, if I sold my house here in Ann Arbor, I could move to Canton and it would cost me $150,000 less. So I could buy an upgraded condo or house in Canton so I could sell my house in Ann Arbor, make $150,000, and then move to a place in Canton that's better than the place that I currently have in Ann Arbor. So that's one way that we can do these things, right? Another way that we can do these things is you buy your first house. You just buy the best location, the best house in the best location. Forget about the best house, just buy the best location. We'll make it the best house over 5 years. And then in 5 years, you buy your next house. You sell that when you had some sweat equity. And then you just buy houses that aren't perfect. You buy houses with wallpaper. You buy houses with carpet. I have fixed up 5 places of my own personally in my lifetime. I'm fixing up 2 or 3 of my clients' places right now. And I just fix them up. I make more money. The last place I bought at $185. I redid the entire place top to bottom. And I know that I can resell that place right now for at least 6 figures more than what I bought it for. I'm sure it's a little bit more than that, but I don't want to talk about my money that much, okay? But what I can definitely say is if you want to be that person who over a period of 10 years buys 5 homes, and on the 5th one, you are just sitting back pretty and you don't have any bills on your house and things like that, give me a call. I know how to make those things happen. It's most about your plan. You got to know, we got to come up with a plan that works.
Let's get into our 5th and final question. You kind of got into this in the first question, so I kind of already know what the answer is going to be. How do I find out what types of loans are available to me as a first-time home buyer, and what's best?
Okay. So there's a few different ways you can do that, right? Some people will just ask their real estate agent directly, because if I'm selling like 30 houses a year, then I already know how the mortgage situation works, how to shop for a loan. I already know personally some of the best lenders in this state. So I can just put you on the phone with somebody. Again, depending on your situation, like, are we going with a credit union? Are we going with Rocket Mortgage? Are we going with Independent Bank? Things like that. I really want to start naming off names, but there's so many people that I love. I'm trying to do podcasts with a lot of the different lenders that I know around town. So if you're a lender and you work with me, or you're a lender and you want to work with me, go ahead and give me a call and we'll sit down and do a podcast. Maybe we can have some clients in common, things like that. But I'm just going to do a shout out to some of the lenders that I really, really love.
You already have one on the podcast already, correct?
We had Chris. Yeah, I've done a lot of business with Chris. Francis, I love Francis. Francis, get in here. You need to do a podcast. I need a podcast with Francis. I've told everybody, maybe except for you. And then
Tanya doesn't want me to own $1 million home.
Yes, I do. I definitely want to sell it to you. Okay, I do, because if you own $1 million home, then Teo is hanging out at your $1 million home. Teo's my puppy, by the way.
He loves me, but I don't know if I love him enough to let him inside my $1 million home. He's a
classy dog. He knows how to behave. He does.
That is debatable. See how moms be bragging on their kids, and it be kind of true.
Look, let me call out a couple lenders real quick. Carrie Eichelman over at Independent Bank. Homegirl Carrie has personally done my own personal loans before. And let me not forget about Julius over at U of L Credit Union. Julius, homeboy. Okay, so seriously, all of those people they have special places in my heart, and I'm not even lying. Like, I got like 5 more that I could list off. Gigi, I love Gigi. Gigi always does my mom's loans, and I haven't talked to Gigi in years, but girl, I don't forget about you. I mean, I don't know. I feel like I'm up giving an Academy Award, and somebody's gonna be mad that I didn't mention their name. I'm sorry.
They'll just have to be mad. Come on the podcast. That was our last question. Thank you, Tanya.
Thank you.